Hey guys, how's it going? Today I thought, I'd do something a little bit easier for myself. Thought it'd be nice to kind of go back through the past week of events that I've attended and run through kind of my results and the overall experience that I've had. And that'd be fun, as the skirmish seasons are going, I might do like a week by week recap for whatever events that I end up going out for. We'll see, when there's a bit of downtime, like for the first month that releases, whether or not I'll be doing these to cover my Nexus nights. But, while I'm still attending skirmishes for Origins, I'll make a video a week just to cover what's been going on. So as you can see, I do try to keep a spreadsheet of all the sets that I run. It's just nice to have some stats to go back and view, so I can check and see, how many Annies I've played against, what's my matchup against Annie look like, matchups against other, champions, and see what the trends are. So last Wednesday I attended an event. I played 3 sets. It's just a Nexus night. The first set was against an Annie, where I won 2-1. This was the first time I played against Annie where I had 3 facebreakers in the sideboard, and it felt really good. It felt really good to have 3 facebreakers in the sideboard. It makes me feel like I want to run my 3rd Noxian Drummer in the main, and then just cut one of the Vanguard captains and just use the slot in the sideboard for something else. I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about it. One thing that I have changed about my sideboard, I think it was starting last Wednesday, starting this Nexus night that we're talking about, I did switch out one of the Commander Lechoses in the sideboard for a Riptide Rex. So right now it's 1 Stratagem, 1 Riptide, 1 Lechos, 1 Shen, 1 Stratagem. Did I say Stratagem? 1 Stratagem, 1 Shen, 1 Noxian Drummer, 1 Lechos, 1 Riptide, and then 3 Facebreakers. So that's the 8 cards on the sideboard. Yeah, so first game was against Annie. It was pretty close. The Annie player is pretty good. If you've watched my Annie matchup video, you can kind of... That's kind of... I wrote that video, I think it was the evening or the next day after this set. So it helped to kind of inform the general game plan. I guess solidify the game plan, see what lines end up working and what lines don't. That matchup... I offered a ton of even trades, like every single turn. It was just even trade for like 2 might for 2 might, or like Drummer and Recruit for Kaisa, or just Viktor for Kaisa, stuff like that. And I was like kind of sketched out when I was doing it. It did feel like kind of bad while I was doing them, because he was accepting all the trades, like accepting all the even trades, and then I just like slowly won the game. It was really close, but Facebreaker was really the thing that changed it. Things like where he would like offensively ride like I would attack in the Dreaming Tree, he would let me conquer it, I would like attack into the other one, offer the even trade, he would ride the wind over, I would Facebreaker, draw the card, and then he'd bounce back. That stuff felt really good. So just having the option of Facebreaker, and like it lets you use it a little bit more liberally without worrying too much about like, oh no, I don't have anything in my hand for Vi, since you have 6 copies of like spell that deals with Vi, so it's pretty good. The next set I played against Misfortune. I went 2-0. This one, we played the 3rd game for the love of the game, and I did win that one as well, so it was 3-0. This matchup's just so free, man. Like, there's not a whole lot that Aurora can do. You just, like, go to 7 points, and then, like... just dig for Imperial Decree or Stratagem, or like multiple Call the Weeks or multiple Hidden Blades, and like Singularity is pretty like decent. It hits Soul Gorger and it hits MF Champion. It doesn't like do too great into the other stuff. Like there's some like sketchy stuff that can happen if you're relying too hard on Singularity, but just don't rely on Singularity and play for Stratagem and Imperial Decree, and this matchup's super easy. One thing that you'd really like to do is be able to snipe the Aspirants Climb game with Arena's Greatest. So it's kind of dependent on the MFs in your area. I ran into MFs that play Sigil of Storm game 1, and I've also run into MFs that start with Aspirants. And I'm actually not sure what the best start into the matchup is. Like, I kind of just, like, default go to Japan War Camp when I'm not sure, but I think like starting Arena's Greatest Game 1 might actually not be too bad. If you're sniping aspirants, it's pretty good. And then like games 2 and 3, you have the extra copy of Stratagem that you have in the sideboard. And like that might be enough to justify like if I'm against aspirants in games 2/3, it might be fine. Even though you're going up to 9 instead of 8 and you don't have Arena's Greatest. I think it's interesting to keep in mind. So I think going forward into the MF matchups, I'll probably start with Arena's Greatest. I think this game I just started War Camp as usual, but it wasn't too big of a deal. Then I played Viktor. That one was also 2-0. This guy was just playing like janky blue Viktor. I honestly don't know how he got to 2-0, but whatever, I'm down. It was a pretty simple matchup. There's just not a whole lot for janky blue Viktor to do. And again, I stand by Viktor mirror is 60-40 for us, for my Viktor list. Then on the 17th, so that was the Saturday, I did attend a skirmish. This skirmish was relatively small. We only had 9 players show up. But it was like a relatively competitive skirmish. A lot of the good players were there. I'd probably say like maybe like a third or half of the good players in my local area were there. So it was still a relatively competitive event. We did a 4-round Swiss into a top 4 cut. Round 1, I played against Lee Sin. This matchup is like completely unplayable for Lee Sin, so I 2-0'd him really easily. Second round, I played against Timo. I think this matchup is probably 60-40, but like it can lean towards 55-45 if the Timo player is really good. But like this Timo opponent wasn't like super Timo specialist, so it was a pretty clean 2-0. Then I played against round 3. I played against Annie. This guy was also not like super experienced with the Annie deck, but it was still relatively difficult. As you can see, it went to 3 games because this matchup sucks. And yeah, it wasn't anything too crazy. I think he did misplay a little bit, which caused me to win. But other than that, it was mostly smooth sailing. Round 4, it was against an Ari, and I did 2-0 him. So I ended Swiss 4-0. I did Swiss 4-0. I went into top 4 as first seed. And then in first seed, I played against 4th, and I played against Annie, and I got 0-2'd, and that kind of sucked. I think I did misplay my battlefields a little bit. So in this skirmish, what we did was the going first, second in game 1 was determined by seeding. So game 1, I was like guaranteed to go first. So I was like, you know what? Let's try going Arena's Greatest. It's like relatively safe. I really do want to lock this game up while they have fewer copies of Gust. The player that I'm playing against, I know main deck's 2 copies of Gust, so it's not even like I'm playing around that much of an advantage, but I thought I should try it out. I think like hindsight, starting Vilemouse is probably still better anyways. I still have the main deck copy of Riptide, which is like easier to get value with. You only have 3 copies of Hidden Blade, and you don't have any face breakers, so like your opponent isn't able to dodge Hidden Blade period with Flash if you're on Vilemouse. So I think starting Vilemouse is still like correct anyways, but I'm like glad I tried it. And like, my Annie opponent like drew pretty well. Like I think they drew both copies of Gust. It was like sneaky deckhand into Gust, and then like gusted me again like a few turns later. So it was like it kind of sucked, but yeah. And then game 2, in his top 10 cards, he had all 3 copies of Gust. So like I pretty much just lost. There's not like a whole lot to do in that situation, and I think it was still like a relatively close game, but it wasn't like a nail biter. I was pretty lost in that one. I didn't really draw my face breakers either. I think I drew like 1 face breaker, like no Hidden Blades in that game. I don't think it would have mattered that much, but still. So I ended that skirmish 3rd place out of 9 players. Not great, not a great result. I wasn't too happy with it, but I couldn't be too mad. I went 4-0 in the Swiss, so it was all right. Then Sunday, I attended another skirmish. This skirmish only had 12 players, so we kind of did the same thing. It was a 4-round Swiss into top 4 cut. Round 1, I played against the Hook Darius. The Hook Darius player was like very, very, very new, so it was a pretty clean 2-0. Round 2, I played against an Annie. This Annie player was actually like not very experienced with the game. He's experienced with the game. He's just not very experienced with Annie. And I still lost anyways, because I suck. I don't remember what happens in game 1 for me to lose, other than like losing the die roll, but like whatever that happens. I can't really remember, but I remember that game 3 I did like misplay a little bit. I was holding a battlefield with Glory Seeker and a recruit, and I was on Dreaming Tree. Was it on Dreaming Tree? No, it was probably on Arena's Greatest. But yeah, it was like, oh no, it was on War Camp, I think. But it was like I was holding on Glory Seeker. It was not War Camp. It was Dreaming Tree. Glory Seeker plus recruit, and then like they Darius like stack deck or something, to ready Darius and ran him in. I played Facebreaker to bounce him back, and I was like feeling really good. I was like, this game should be locked up at this point. So what I did the next turn is I Singularity just the Darius to kill him. In hindsight, I think that was probably a mistake. I think you should want to get like a little bit more value out of your Singularity, especially if they have a decent number of cards in their hands. Since I'm pretty sure he played stack deck the turn earlier, he probably would have like a decent play for the following turn, which he did, which was Accelerated Kaisa. So I killed the Darius and then just passed the turn, like I played Recruit to base, and then I like left the Glory Seeker and the Recruit onto the battlefield. Basically, I was just trying to play around something like Gust Deckhand or like Fight or Flight Deckhand. But like realistically, I think in that situation, like if they're using Gust Deckhand, it's like not that bad for me. I do need to play around like accelerated Kaisa or Darius in that situation. So what happened is they like accelerated Kaisa into the battlefield and killed the Recruit plus the Glory Seeker. And I think I should have just brought the Glory Seeker back, or just like the Recruit back. And I think those two mistakes kind of back to back really flipped the game. I was up like 7 points to 3 in that game, and I just like could not get the last point because I just didn't have enough units left. They played Falling Star into like Annie, pick Falling Star back up, and then Falling Star me again, and it like really set me behind like pretty significantly. Like they hit Viktor the first Falling Star, and then they hit 3-drop for the second Falling Star. I had like 4 recruits left after that, and then on the battlefields they had like Kaisa, Traveling Merchant, Vayne, and Annie, and like I had second Singularity, but like it wasn't quite enough to get through. So I think I did like misplay that game, and I should have won that. The game after that, I played against MF Aurora. I did lose game 1, which is kind of hilarious. I played War Camp into their Aspirants, which is why I was thinking like maybe Arena's Greatest is better. It was like, it's typical Aurora game. Like he won the die roll, went first, played Mobilize into Catalyst into Aurora. And then, even then, the game was like really, really, really close. If I drew 1 Imperial Decree or drew 1 Stratagem, I would have won. I had 15 units on board. And like the last turn, if I drew 1 more, I would have drawn Consult the Past, and I would have been able to play Consult the Past for 4, and I would have drawn into Imperial Decree and I would have won. So I was still 1 turn away from, or 1 draw away from being able to win the game. Into a game where Aurora went first, played Mobilized Catalyst Aurora, and hit Mines. No, I think they hit like they hit Drake. They hit Mountain Drake, I think, which is like, yeah, it's fine. So yeah, and then like games 2 and 3 were like super easy. Like it was like not even close. Just like having the 4th copy just makes the matchup super easy. And then round 4, I played against Master Yi. I got kind of wrecked. Game 1, I played around. He hadn't played a single Defy, and he has 1 Confront in his deck. I'm holding on 1 battlefield at 7 points. He's holding on the other battlefield 7 points with Master Yi. And I have Hidden Blade, so I like 1 battlefield. I have 2 recruits. The other battlefield, 1 battlefield. I have 1 recruit. 1 battlefield, I have 1 recruit, or 2 recruits, and then I have a recruit in base that's ready, and then he's on the battlefield with 1 mastery. I have 5 mana up, and I have Imperial Decree, and I have Hidden Blade in hand, and I held to 7 that turn. So if I conquered that turn, I'd be able to win. So I had to choose: do I play Imperial Decree and trade the Master Yi with the recruit and try to hold to 8 points for the following turn? this plays around Defy, which he had not played a single one, and he had 1 mana up. And it loses to Devlin Predator. It doesn't even lose. It loses to Confront. It loses to Confront. And my opponent runs 1 copy of Confront in their deck. Or I could like Hidden Blade the Master Yi and just run the Recruit on. If I get Defied, I instantly lose the game. Straight up, instantly lose the game. So I played around the Defy. I was like, you know what? I'll just Imperial Decree, run the Recruit in, trade it in, and then pray. Like I'll hide Hidden Blade at the other battlefield. If like Dead Blooms me, I'll like Hidden Blade the Dead Bloom. If he like Accelerated Fey Folk, I'll like Hidden Blade that. And I like didn't even think about Confront, but like I knew he only ran like 1 copy of Confront, so I like wasn't like you can't not play around 3 copies of Defy and then play around the 1 copy of Confront. So I was like, I'll do that. It's probably safer. Imperial Decree, trade the units off, hide Hidden Blade, pass, plays Confront, plays Pit Rookie, plays First Mate, and then top decks Defy. And I'm like, okay, well, I had no hope. there was just nothing to do there. So I did lose game 1, and then game 2, it was like not particularly close. I like really destroyed him. He played Grove, which I think is incorrect for Master Yi. I think you do want to play Obelisk, because it's like Valma's game 1, and then like Grove is you're going first and your Obelisk is going second. But like Yi players don't want to play Obelisk into arenas because you can like 2-drop Recruit or like Faithful Manufacturer or like Seal Vanguard Titan or something like that. So you like score both, and then the tempo is like too hard to come back from. So he started Grove, which I think is a mistake. I think you just start Obelisk anyways and just pray. But that game was not close at all. And then game 3, it was like pretty close. I did lose the game. It was the Obelisk into Valmas. Yeah, it was Obelisk Valmas. Yeah. So I was like mostly keeping up, and then I was holding onto a battlefield with Faithful Manufacturer. He ran into it with a Poro and played On Guard, I think. And then I responded, played Cult of Glory, so it was 5-4. And then he played Discipline on top of that, so it was 6-5. I played Shen on top of my thing, so it was 10-6. It was 10-6, and then he played Primal Strength, and it was 16-10, and he killed my battlefield, and I could not come back from that. I could absolutely not come back from that. Like, they lost 3 cards for that. They lost On Guard, Discipline, and Primal Strength. I lost 3 cards: Faithful Manufacturer, Call to Glory, and Shen. You can't afford to take those kinds of trades. I really needed to have like a hidden blade at that battlefield in case something like that happened. But I'm just so not used to playing around Primal Strength, so oh well. That's kind of how it works. Yeah, so I lost that. So I went 2-2. I got 7th out of 12. Pretty brutal result. It's kind of my fault. I should not have lost against the Annie, but whatever. And then I played against yesterday. I played again yesterday. I played against Annie round 1. This is the same Annie I lost to in top 4 of the Saturday skirmish. I lost 1-2. Happens. I like had Valmaz game 1. He was running Vaya and he was holding Flash, but he ran Vaya into Valmaz. I played Consult, had 2 mana up, praying for Hidden Blade. If I had Hidden Blade, I would have won. I didn't draw Hidden Blade, so I lost. Game 3, he did some really funky stuff like hide Fighter Flight, so that when I singulated his Darius, he would Fighter Flight plus Flash on no units to get Darius up to 7. And I like didn't quite have enough gas left to win. I attempted to kill his Darius 3 times, 3 separate times, and he stopped me every single time. I think it was like Singularity did not kill, and then I ran a bunch of units and he like removed it, and then I ran a bunch of units and he removed it. And like you can't attempt to kill something that many times and still win the game. So yeah. And he also drew the 3rd Gust. He drew 3rd Gust in like probably like 15 cards or something. He drew 3 Gusts, which is like fine. It happens. If he didn't have Gust, I probably would have won that game. If he had like a 2-drop in hand, I would have won that game. But oh well, that's the way it works. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Then I played against Viktor. It was 2-1. I should not have lost game 1, but like my draw was horrendous. I had to play like I played 2-drop turn 1, and then turn 2 I played Victor, and then turn 3 I played Consult the Past, Recruit. And I just lost because like you can't play Consult the Past for 4 mana and like expect not to lose the game. So I didn't really have any other options. Like the other option was to play like a naked Vanguard Captain with no Legion, which is like, you know, I had like Call the Week Vanguard Captain, but I only had 1 yellow rune, so I like couldn't even do that. I would have done that if I had the chance. I would have sacked my Daring Portal because I had to, you know, but it just never, like I never got the opportunity. Sometimes you brick, happens. And then the other 2 games were like pretty easy. And then I played another Victor in round 3, and it was pretty easy. These Victor matchups are like so easy. Like I swear to God, I might actually be wrong with 60-40 on the Victor mirror. Like shit, dude. Like this matchup is like not losable. Honestly, I've lost 1 best of 1, and then like 1 best of 3, and that's fine. Like happens. But like I've won so many, so yeah. But yeah, so that was my week of Rift Downs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll try to do these a little bit more often. Hopefully about once a week when I'm attending like a decent number of skirmishes. It's nice to kind of run back through my matchups and see if there's something I could do better, or if there's anything else. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll try to put out a more structured video next. Thanks.